Big money is back. You can see that we had a ton of alpha gold alerts yesterday and today. We had Tesla, Dell, Meta, Nvidia, and much more. And this is a very good sign. When we see the market pulling back into weekly supports, we want to see the options market become bullish. If we see big money buying the dip in the options market, it is a very good sign that we're going to see the derivatives market, or the stock market, I should say, continue to bounce. And so in this case, big money came in, they bought up a lot of Tesla calls. You're going to see at 11:55 this morning, the Alpha Gold alert hit. This is a very, very bullish alert that is usually going to be a longer term swing trade. You're going to see that the actual trigger that hit the alert was the September 19th, 2025 calls for a strike price of $210. If we isolate this flow, you're going to see that we had everything that we look for each and every single time we're trying to follow an unusual options flow. We have size, time, and urgency. Time means that we need to have some time left until these contracts expire. So if this expired in the next week, we don't really care too much about it unless we're day trading it. But because this expires over a year from now, this is a good sign that the buyer is looking for the next couple of months, which is also lining up with our bullish thesis. The second thing to understand is that there's urgency behind this. Under the detail section where it says AA and A, that means above the ask and at the ask. So that means that this person who's buying these options is overpaying. They're paying more than the highest person who is selling these options, which is very unusual, especially when you're trading with over $3 million, because you're going to end up losing money just getting into that trade. If we expand the charts here, you're going to notice that the price of this contract has been doing nothing but dropping. And you're going to see that there is very little volume each and every single day, usually max 149 contracts traded in a day to as little as 4 contracts traded in a day. But when we see the price of an options contract dropping, but we see a ton of buying like we saw today, 4 times the amount of buying and selling today than we saw in a normal day. That is highly unusual. Now, of course, it does not mean that now Tesla has to pop. First of all, this is going out over a year, so we could still see Tesla come back to test $180. I assume the time frame that this person's looking at is over the next 4 to 6 months. The other thing to remember is that 90% of traders fail, and hedge funds on Wall Street are also a part of that statistic, so big money can always be wrong. Now, if we look at the weekly chart, which is what we've been viewing for basically the past month or so, we were talking about how price would most likely pull back into this level, but it happened much faster than we were expecting. As soon as we pulled back into the market bias, you're going to notice that price bounced right off of 185 and started to move its way back up. So at this point, I think that we're probably going to see Tesla continue to run, best case scenario, in the next week, week and a half, back up to $220. I do believe that there's a big chance that price will probably reject off of that $220 level and come back one more time to test $190 and $185. That's why I still have my December calls. I'm selling cash secured puts on Tesla until we get confirmation of a bottom so that I can just make a couple percent each and every single week on that capital until I decide to fill on my actual position to ride Tesla back up to $300, which I believe will happen by the end of this year. If we take a look at the shorter time frame on the 1 hour, you're going to notice that just into the next week, week and a half, we're going to have to see the break over this resistance level. Price is going to have to take out $200. If that level of 200 to 208 can be held, that's when that next run of about 10 to 15% back up to 220 will end up happening. In the meantime, we simply need to remain patient until we get confirmation of a bottom. We're not going to be aggressive while we're in a downtrend and while things are looking like we're going to sell off into lower lows. I hope this video helped. If you guys want to learn how to read unusual options flow, I highly recommend taking our free options flow class. And if you want to know all of the indicators that we use, such as the market bias, the BX trender, and our specific settings, take our market bias course. All of our courses will be down in the description completely for free. Thanks for all the support, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.